Hi guys, so I'm going to be showing you how I built my hip thrust machine / booty builder machine / glute drive / booty building station, whatever you want to call it. That's what I built. Anyway, this is what it looks like just about done. Let's jump right in. The tools and hardware that I used a high-powered drill. I used the hole drill bits, the ones that you drill a hole through the wood so that you can inset the screws. I don't know what they're actually called, but I used a 1-inch one. If you could find a one that is a little bit bigger than an inch, maybe 1 1/4 inch, that would be perfect. But I had a 1-inch one, so that's what I used. And then you'll need one that will fit the size of the screws that you guys have, so you can inset all of the screws. Anyway, you'll also need 2.5 inch, 4 3/4 inch, and 6-inch construction screws, a miter saw, a grinder, a staple gun, a utility knife, sandpaper, a drill bit for the J-hooks, wood glue, 3.5 inch bolts and washers. I got the screw-in kind, and of course your safety glasses. As far as the wood goes, I got 2x4s and I glued most of them together. Not all of them, but most of them. I got a couple 4x4s, and I got one 2x4x6 and one hardwood board that was about 2 feet by 4 feet by approximately a 1/4 inch depth, not a 1/2 inch. I had a half an inch written there, but that was a mistake. Anyway, onto the piping. I got one Schedule 40 3/4 inch by 36 inch pipe. I got two galvanized steel 3/4 inch by 10 inch nipples and 3/4 inch flanges. You can get black pipe as well there. It doesn't really matter. As far as miscellaneous items I have here, I got 2 pillow block bearings online. I got one seat belt. You can get that at O'Reilly Auto Parts or AutoZone. I got some high density foam by the yard and vinyl by the yard from Jo-Ann Fabrics. I got the screw-in J-hooks and 2 caster wheels and spray paint, all from my local hardware store. Here are some of the pieces of wood that I got and what I used them for. So I have 2x4s here. Again, I glued most of them together. The ones that I glued together, I cut 2 the same size for the base, and then another 2 the same size for the base. And then I cut 2 the same size for the arms. Then I also cut I had some 4x4s there, and I cut 2 of them the same height for the backboard, and then 2 of them the same height for the footboard. Now the ones but for the headboard and for the footboard, on one end they're cut straight, and then on the other end they're going to be at a 45-degree angle to set you up for proper form when you're doing this workout. And then I also have 2 that I cut for the seat. They're both different lengths. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. So onto the base here. I have this is my drawing. This is kind of what it'll look like with the 2x4s and the 4x4s, and then some of the back or the pieces I used for support. You have to cut some angled pieces for the inside of the base to give it extra support. You definitely need all that support you can get. Here are here's the finished product. I'm showing you the base here. They're the 2x2s that I cut the same size. I cut 2 of them the same size, and then parallel to those, I cut those 2 the same size. And again, I have measurements on that drawing. You can refer back to if you happen to be 5'2". This is made for somebody strictly my size. there's the back there with the caster wheels. I put the caster wheels in that location. However, if I could do it again, I would put them somewhere else as they don't work there. There's the footboard. I just screwed that right into the 4x4s. And then there's some more support. You have to give it a lot of support. In fact, I would use more support than what I did. But this is just mine and it doesn't bother me. As you can tell, it's not perfect, but again, it is just mine to use and it doesn't bother me. There are some screws sticking out in some places, nowhere that'll harm me, so it didn't bother me. There is the 4x4 that I used for the seat. I used one and screwed it into the base, and then a shorter one on top of that to raise me up to reach the headboard there. And here is the headboard. We'll talk about that next, or that area. So here I have my sketch of what I used. I have two 4x4s that are the same height, cut flat on one side and at a 45-degree angle on the other. And you will want to use your hole drill bit to drill a hole all the way through both of the 4x4s here so that you can put that pipe through, because that is where the pipe will go that moves the arms on the piece. So you have to drill a hole through all the way through both of those 4x4s there. And then I also have here my 2x6 that I used for the headboard itself, or the backboard itself. And then I have a piece of 4x4 that I connected to the 4x4s facing the seat. And I also connected it to the base. So I screwed it into the base, half of it, and then the other half I screwed into the bottom of the 4x4s to give it some support. And then I also have another piece of 2x6 that I used on the back of the 4x4s for support. And then, of course, the piping there that is the 36-inch Schedule 40 pipe that will actually be what the arms sit on. And how the arms move. And then those purple things that I have drawn out there are the pillow block bearings that will go on the outside of the arms and on the outside of those pipes. Here we have the, I'm showing you the headboard. There's that 2x6 that I used for support. There are the 4x4s that I drilled a hole all the way through. And of course the piping with the pillow block bearings. You will use bolts and washers to secure those into the wood there. And there's the pipe. See, it goes all the way through the arms and all the way through those 4x4s. And there's the back of the cushion there that I stapled. So you will have to grind the 34-inch pipe down to fit into the 1-inch pillow block bearings that I got. And yes, that's exactly what I said. You will have to, they just don't fit properly. Even though they should, they don't. So you will have to grind the Schedule 40 pipe down on both sides in order to get them to fit into the pillow block bearing. And so I recommend having the pillow block bearing sitting out there while you're grinding so that you can size it every now and again to see how close you are, because it is a tedious job. It takes a while. So just good luck. Be patient. You'll get through it. Onto the footboard here. So this is my sketch. I have two 4x4s that I cut the same size, flat on one side and 45-degree angle on the other. That I screwed this footboard into. Now that's the 2 foot by 4 foot by a 1/4 inch hardwood board that I got that I screwed into the top of that. And that's where you will place your feet. And then, of course, I have some 2x4s that I used here, as you can see, for support. You need that support again. You'll have to cut those at a 45-degree angle on one side or something like that. It might not be 45 degrees, but it might be. I don't know. Anyway, they're the caster wheels that I put on there. If I could do it again, which I can move them, but I need to move them because they don't work where I put them. I would put them somewhere else. It doesn't actually, I was just trying to put them on there so that it was easier to move. Anyway, I'm showing you here the difference in size between the 4x4s. The backboard will be higher than the footboard to give you proper form for this workout. There's the footboard. You want it to be large, not quite 4 foot by 2 foot. I did cut it smaller. Again, the measurements are on the drawings. Okay, let's move on to the arms. Here are the arms. Again, you'll have 2x4s that you glue together. You'll cut 2 of them the same size and then drill a hole through all the way through the arms again for that piping. So you'll want to use that 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch hole drill bit that you guys should have and just cut all the way through. And then you'll have 1 2x4 cut a different length to connect those 2 pieces together. And then you'll have the weight horns on the end there. So here are the arms. They're those 2x4s, and there's the hole. You will drill all the way through the arms so that you can connect the flange pillow block bearing on the end there and put the pipe all the way through. That's how the arms will move up and down so that you can do the workout. There's the 2x4s that I glued together on one side, and then the 2x4s that I glued together on the other side. And then, of course, at the top, you can see the 1 2x4. Now, here's the cushion. Cushions, I went to Joann Fabrics, and I got high-density foam by the yard. I used a utility knife to cut it to size, and then I just used some vinyl that I got there as well by the yard, cut it to size, and stapled it on with the staple gun. I used a lot of staples. It didn't have to be perfect, and I folded around the seat as best as I could and tried to make it look pretty. For the weight horns here, I just went to my local hardware store and got some more galvanized steel pipes. I got some 3/4 inch